without further ado, let's go into your reading. The big message for you guys for this week is, let the suspicions and mistrust, whatever the situation is, I feel like you kind of have to let those things go, okay? Because I feel like whoever you have around you, they actually have your best interests at heart. And I feel like they want to build with you. So I see two people. One is somebody that you really trust. This can be like a childhood friend. This can be somebody that you are making money with, like a coworker, somebody who is in your work environment, and you're generating a lot of money together. And you're also, it's sort of like this unwritten, unspoken agreement that we need each other and we need to be able to trust each other. So don't listen to anybody else that is interfering in that kind of work environment, because it's not going to serve its purpose. I feel like you two are very like-minded. It's almost like you look at them, they look at you, and they know what you're thinking. And I feel like there's somebody that might have tried to get in between, create like resentment or hostilities between you and this person. And I feel like at some times, at certain times, when other people have tried to get between the two of you, and let's just say on a day when you were feeling bad, right? And you were dealing with self-doubt, you might have believed whatever was said. And then when you're feeling good again, when you're in this person's presence, that's like physical proof to you that the person has your best interest at heart. But then there are days when you kind of doubt it. So I feel like whatever it is, whatever suspicions you might have, don't let other people get in the way. Don't let other people steer you off course based on what you know to be true because of your intuition. Okay, so don't let other people steer you away from your intuition. I'm also seeing as well, there is a relationship partner, somebody that you might have been seeing, you might have been dating. They really, really, really want to build with you. They really want a relationship. They really want a commitment. Okay, so if you started dating them and you're not at a point where you want that, you need to pump on the brakes and you need to let them know, because I feel like they're fantasizing and dreaming up and conjuring up this marriage, this, moving in together, buying property together. And I feel like if you're not ready, you definitely need to let them know. And then I also feel some of you are proposing, thinking about proposing. So congratulations for those who are dealing with that. It looks good, because you definitely have somebody who's going to be by your side. They're not going to run away when things get rough. Okay, they're going to ride or die with you. So I feel like they're going to ride it out through your mood swings, through your low points, when you are experiencing a lot of self-doubt, when you're going through a lot of transformation in your life. They're going to be there, and they're going to make that very clear to you that they're going to be there. And so I definitely feel like that this person is going to be there for you, and that you found something that is very real. But if you're not ready, then don't lead them on. And then on the other hand, if you are ready, I feel like they're ready. It's just a matter of both people individually. You need to be secure in your foundation first in order to make this relationship work. Okay, so I feel like it harkens back to a time in the past where you might have been financially stable, but your partner was not. And then it created so much chaos in the relationship. And I feel like that fear, that anxiety is coming back around, even though it's been, years and years ago. The energy is coming back around where you are very, very cautious this time around. I need to be secure financially. The other person needs to be secure financially in order for us to get together and have a successful relationship. You're starting to realize one person cannot subsidize another person if you're in a relationship with them. Okay, like as much as we want to help the other person, as much as we care and we feel like money shouldn't matter, I definitely feel like there are cycles that are in danger of being repeated. So if you want this to work out, you need to be very realistic, and you need to make sure that the other person is stable and secure first. If they're not stable and secure on their own, they're not going to be a really good relationship partner. Even though you might love them, even though they might love you, it's just not built on anything practical. So you want to be careful about that. I honestly see for some of you, there might have been like a divorce or something where you're trying to build up, your assets. You're trying to reinvent yourself. You're trying to rebuild. And it has taken some time to get yourself to this point where you are starting to feel a little bit less wobbly financially. You're starting to feel a lot more secure, and you're starting to, you know, be very hopeful about your financial situation, which is good. Don't let anybody detract you from that. Okay. If you feel wobbly, work on your finances, work on your foundation. Don't get into a relationship. If you feel like you need a distraction through a relationship, find distractions. Don't make promises and promise more than you're able to deliver. Okay. Because once again, this cyclical pattern, I feel like, the past coming back to haunt us. Old ways of doing need to be left behind, and we need to be very honest and very sincere with ourselves. It's almost like looking at your reflection in the mirror and asking yourself if you like the person that you are becoming, if you're truly truthful and honest in your dealings, and if you're happy with that. Okay, so I definitely see a lot of introspection and a lot of just the energy of you measuring your worth based on whether or not you like that person in the mirror. Okay, whether or not you're happy with the person that you are becoming, whether or not you are proud of the choices that you make. And it's a really good time to confront ourselves and just, build ourselves and make ourselves into the most stable, the most forthcoming, and the most honest person that we can be. I'm also seeing the energy here about somebody who's married and also in another relationship. So I see that element coming in where I feel like it's a fantasy, like it's at a point where you want it to happen. You want to have an extramarital affair with another person because the two of you feel like a very strong soul connection. So yes, your partner is very stable. You love your partner, and you're happy. But then there's also another person outside of that relationship who you feel you feel like you have a very strong soul connection with them, and you're definitely very attracted to them. They're very independent. They have this devil may care attitude. Like they don't take themselves too seriously, and you find that very refreshing. They're very independent. They possibly could be self-employed for some of you. They have also been through, their fair share of hardships in life, and they're strong. And because of that, you really admire this person. And so you're fantasizing about them, you're thinking about them. And if given the opportunity, I feel like you would step out on the relationship that you have. You have something very stable, but you are willing to risk it to be with this other person because you really like them, you're attracted to them, you admire them. And so that's what I'm seeing right now. You're straddling the fence. The temptation is really strong. The temptation is really strong. The pull is very strong. So, once again, at the end of the day, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, who's the person that I want to become? And am I okay with that? Am I okay? Am I going to be able to sleep at night? Am I okay with the person that I am and the choices that I'm about to make? Because I feel like some of you are risk adverse. It's in the fantasy realm. You're not going to go ahead with it. But given the opportunity, you might change your mind. So just, steer clear of temptation if you can. Because we are heading into Mercury retrograde, by the way, November 17. And secrets have a habit of slipping out, okay? We don't behave as carefully as we should. We if we lie, we might like trip over our lies. Things will get found out at very inopportune moments. So it's just a really notorious time for things to slip out. So just be careful about that. And this energy is going to run, I believe, until December 5th. So do as you may, but just keep these things in the back of your mind. What I'm getting as well is some of you are preparing for some type of a big expenditure. Okay, it could be the end of the year. There's a lot of the holiday season's coming up, so there's a lot of spending in general for gifts, for travel, for family. I'm also seeing taxes. I'm also seeing like paying back, like like property tax, for example, at the end of the year. So I feel like you're saving up for some huge expenditures, and you're kind of frustrated. Like, I can't believe I worked so hard, and the money is going to be dwindling. So there's that element here as well. I'm also feeling what is family members. They're saying here, family members don't always make the best decisions. And if they're younger than you, you definitely should tell them, as the older adult in that relationship. Okay. If they're younger than you, then definitely give them your opinion. Tell them, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Here's what's going to happen. Give them your guidance, and you're using your expertise to give them proper guidance. If they're older than you, it's going to fall on deaf ears, okay? Because they feel like, oh, I have more experience than you. I've been through it all. Even though, age is nothing but a number, and it doesn't really dictate somebody's emotional maturity level. It doesn't. But I feel like if they're older than you, they're not going to listen. They're not going to heed your advice. They're just kind of fixed in their course of action. They're going to do what they're going to do. So I feel like it's already set in stone. Okay, so you're going to just whatever you say, it's just going to roll off their back. So don't waste your time. But if they're younger than you and you feel like, I don't know if this is, my place, or I don't know if I'm over like stepping my boundaries, or if I'm going to step over somebody's toes by telling them this. If they are younger than you, I feel like they will benefit from your words of wisdom. So give them that time, give them that attention, and tell them, if it comes from the heart, it's going to be fine. Okay. If it comes from the heart with good intentions, it's going to be fine. But if they're older, I just feel like they're already fixed. It's almost like an iron cast. They're not going to change. So whatever you do, it's not really going to change the situation, or change their opinion, or change their course of action. I see here a lot of, as we wrap up this year, I feel like you have some regrets. Okay, you have some regrets. Regrets of like, I should have saved up more. I should have been more practical and methodical with my spending, with my earnings. I could have done things differently. But I feel like you're at a point where you're not really beating yourself up over it. You're taking away these things as, these are micro mini lessons that will be really helpful for me next year, 2019. And so this is kind of like the point where you are consolidating your knowledge and your wisdom, so that you can, improve upon your performance next year. And so I feel like next year is going to be a very, very good year for you in general. Before we go as well, I just want to wish you all a very happy birthday. I can't believe I forgot all about it. So happy birthday, Scorpios. I hope you have a wonderful time celebrating with your loved ones, your friends and family. I do want to advise you, this is a card about drinking. It's the Temperance card when it's in the reverse. Drinking and driving, just be very careful about that. Okay, and don't push yourself off your past your limits. You guys are generally very, very good with knowing your limit, and for whatever reason, you metabolize alcohol very well, substances very well, and you keep it in. So for example, if you drink, right, and after you pass your limit, some people throw up. Some people are just like, I can't have it in my body. I need to, vomited out. But I feel like you guys are really good about keeping things in. You guys are just really good about keeping things in. Your emotions, whatever goes in stays in. That might not be a good thing. Okay, so don't push yourself past your limit. And as well, be careful about driving. Okay, drinking, driving, things like that. One last thing I want to end on is that I feel like this is a year where you are straightening things out. Okay, and it's gonna get better. The wrinkles are being ironed out, and so I feel like 2019 is going to be a lot smoother. Okay,